Kind of become my new favorite thing. But with the quick turnaround and trying to get this in before spring break, we just decided some things had to go. But we are going to start off with a poem, and then we have 3 performances for you, 3 presentations. One's about voting rights for women, one's about Amelia Earhart and what she did, and then our final one kind of combines a whole bunch of issues. But I always like to remind parents and everybody else in here that these kids do this outside of school time, outside of normal school time. They're doing as much work as every other kid, plus all the other stuff we do. And it's been very challenging this time just because I've been out of the classroom quite a bit. I'm sure, I don't know if you were told, I was not here last weekend. I was presenting about Brick Academy in Lake Tahoe with Mr. Lago and Ms. Knudsen, and our guest, Ms. Wisemeyer. They were with us up there. So there are some neat things happening with this program, and it's thanks to the hard work of the kids and the support of the parents. So I want to always thank you for everything you do. Bringing food, supporting your child, making sure we have the #1 attendance for every trimester. That's very exciting every time. So I'm going to stop talking pretty much for the next hour and let the kids do everything else. I'm not going to talk in between because no one's here to see me. You're here to see your children. So we have, first of all, in the program, it says Phenomenal Woman. It's a poem written by Maya Angelou. And I hope you enjoy everything. And we have a couple surprises in our program for you here. And I'll turn it over to the kids. So, Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou.
Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips.
I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman, that's me.
I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man the fellows stand or fall down to their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's in the fire of my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing of my waist and the joy of my feet.
I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman, that's me.
Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the way that I walk, the grace of my style.
I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman, that's me.
Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about. I need to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hand, the need for my care.
'Cause I am a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman, that's me.
No presentation of American Women's History Month would be complete without discussing Susan B. Anthony. So that is where we begin. Susan B. Anthony was a pioneer in the struggle of getting the right to vote. As you will see in this performance, the justice system is not always fair to people, but it takes courageous people to stand up for what is right. Susan B. Anthony was so courageous and important that when the law for women's suffrage was finally written, it was nicknamed Susan B. Anthony Law. Here is a little story of what happened when she tried to vote early on.
In the early 1800s, American women, like enslaved African and Native Americans, were not allowed to vote. Most women did not receive much education or work at jobs outside the home. If a woman didn't reckon was educated, her husband had the legal right to take all the money she earned. And if her parents died and left all their money to her, it automatically became her husband's, not hers. And if her husband lost all of his money through gambling and bad investments, her husband had the legal right to sell all her belongings, even her clothing, to have his debt. And although divorces are rare, if a woman did get divorced, the custody of her children would automatically go to her husband. That was the law.
Not everyone believed the laws of her. Susan B. Anthony was one American who thought the laws should be changed. The greatest law of the land was and is the United States Constitution. Any law, even the Constitution, can be changed if enough people vote to change it. Susan and the other feminists knew that women had to get the right to vote first before women gain equal rights.
I'm so nervous. We could go to jail for this. People only go to jail for breaking the law. It's against the law for us to vote, isn't it?
I'm confused. The Constitution doesn't say anything about women having the right to vote.
That's right. It doesn't say we have the right, but it doesn't say we don't. Well, make up your mind. Do we or don't we? Which is it? I've done a lot of thinking about this. The Constitution states that all people born in the United States are citizens. Right. And that the state shall make no law that denies any person the rights of citizenship. So if we are persons, which we are, born in the United States, which we were, then we're citizens. And the right of citizenship is the right to vote. No state can deny us of that right. Well, when you put it that way, I guess we do have the right to vote. But if we have the right, why is it that women can't vote? Well, a few women have. They're allowed to fill out a ballot, but as soon as they leave the polling place, the ballots are thrown away. They're not counted. And many women, sad to say, don't yet realize how important voting is. That's right. They're content to let their husbands support and protect them.
But what about women who aren't married?
Or women who had bad husbands. What are they to do? Society calls them old maids and expects them to live with their relatives. If they have no relatives, they end up in a poorhouse or on the streets because they are uneducated and have no way to support themselves. It's so sad. It is, and it will be, until we women can help change our country's laws.
But what are we waiting for?
Let's go vote!
Susan and her sisters sat to cast votes in the 1872 presidential election. The voting inspectors did allow them to cast their ballots, but
2 weeks after the election, Susan was charged and arrested with voter fraud, a very serious offense. She was tried by Justice Warren Hunt in front of a jury of 12 men.
Judge Hunt, I wish to ask permission to act as an old lawyer.
Permission denied. Be seated.
Well, Henry, it's up to you.
Don't worry, Susan. I know your reasons for voting. When I explain it to the judge and the jury, they'll understand too.
I hope so. Is it man's world that you're deaf for sure? Is it possible for any woman to get justice? Henry's a good man and a good lawyer. He'll do his best to see justice done.
Your Honor, my client is a patriotic American. She's hardworking and pays her taxes. She believes that the Constitution gives her, as a citizen, the right to vote.
Your kind has studied the law, you say. If your kind had stuck to her womanly duties, instead of trying to understand things like the law, which are beyond women, she wouldn't be in my courtroom today.
I object, Your Honor. Susan B. Anthony is no criminal. If she were a man, we'd praise her for voting. She's trying to do her duty for her country just as you and I do. She believes that the Constitution gives her and all women the right to vote.
Do her duty for her country as you and I do? Ha! That's a good one. What's next? Do these women want to be serving in the army just like men? Stand back, Mr. Sheldon. I'm ready to give my verdict.
Your Honor!
Susan B. Anthony, approach the bench.
she does. The judge takes out a piece of paper that he's had in his pocket during the whole trial and reads from it.
I find you guilty for voting fraudulently.
The judge made up his mind in advance. This trial was dishonest. Your Honor, shouldn't the jury decide?
You're out of order. This is my courtroom, and I make the rules. You're guilty as charged. I find you the sum of $100.
Your Honor!
Judge Hunt, I will not pay 1 cent of this. I'm just fine. I guess this will put an end to you talk like voting like a man. And not all. I'll never stop working until all American women have the right to vote.
As she promised, Susan B. Anthony never paid her fine. She could have been put in prison for refusal to pay. Judge Hunt knew, however, that if Susan were in prison, she could have appealed his decision to a higher court. That court might punish the judge for unethical conduct and decided the verdict himself in advance without listening to the jury.
Until her death at the age of 86, Susan didn't stop fighting for women's suffrage. 14 years after her death and exactly 100 years after her birth, Congress passed the Susan B. Anthony Amendment, which gave all American women the right to vote at last.
for equality among men and women, sometimes it takes unexpected heroes to come forward and show the world that what a group is capable of. Amelia Earhart was one of those people, an adventurer at heart. Amelia showed the world that what women cannot be defined as one set of characteristics. As a young girl, she kept a scrapbook of newspaper clippings about successful women in predominantly male-oriented fields, including film, law, advertising, management, and mechanical engineering, who knew that one day she would be one of those women. Here's a little story about Amelia that takes us from her childhood to her untimely death.
In the early part of the 1900s, the idea of flying was a new one, at least for human beings. Airplanes had recently been invented and weren't as nearly as safe as they are today. It was up to a few courageous individuals, people who were willing to travel in machines to get flying off the ground.
I want to go first.
Oh, Amelia, let me go first. I helped make it. I'm the one who jumped it up, so I should be the guinea pig. Don't worry, as long as I don't crash, you all will get a turn.
What do you suppose you're up to now? Honestly, those girls are just too wild. Imagine running around with the trousers playing with little boys. You'd think we didn't raise her right. They're like coming to pick him up. I'm gonna have a talk with her. There she goes.
Yay!
Woo-wee, it's just like funny wee. Amelia, you two come over here this instant.
What was all that noise? Oh, Grandma, it was so exciting. Amelia was at the roller coaster on top of the old shed.
What? A roller coaster, Grandpa. And then some fence was going down one side of the river to make a track. And then I took the wheels from my old roller skates and attached them to the plane to make a cart. Then
That's enough. There will be no roller coasters in my yard. My word. Why can't you two behave in a ladylike fashion? Why, when I was a girl, most everything I ever did was from my hook down one skirt. Now you two lines and stuff are gone now.
yes. Amelia, I wonder how she'll be when she grows up.
As she grew older, Amelia didn't lose interest in daytime activities. After she left college, she took flying lessons. By the time she was 25 years old, Amelia had her practice lessons. Even though she loved it, flying was still just a hobby. Amelia took a job as a social worker near a town in Boston, Massachusetts, where she helped immigrants and just left to America. One day, Amelia received a telephone call that changed her life forever.
Amelia, you have a telephone call.
Thanks, Marion. This is Amelia Earhart.
Miss Earhart, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hilton Riley. I'm part of a very exciting project. I was wondering if you would like to be a part of it. I understand you're interested in flying.
I'm not interested in it. I love it.
Miss Earhart, would you be willing to do something important for the cause of aviation?
Such as?
Flying a plane across the Atlantic Ocean. No other woman pulled it off. You'll be the first.
Mr. Riley, I should tell you that when a great adventure is offered, I don't refuse it.
In June 1928, Amelia, flying with two male co-pilots, became the first woman to fly the Atlantic Ocean. She was immediately hailed as a great hero for men and women all around the world. Her career as an aviator had taken off. After flying with two male co-pilots across the Atlantic Ocean, Amelia decided that she should try the flight alone. On May 19, 1932, Amelia took off from Newfoundland, Canada. It was a difficult voyage. The altimeter, the instrument which shows how high she is flying, broke early in the trip. Also, for much of the trip, there was a crack near the engine that was on fire. 15 hours and 18 minutes after takeoff, Amelia made world headlines when she landed her small plane in a meadow in Ireland. That day, the President of the United States and the First Lady, like many others, became Earhart's admirers.
I'm so honored to be here with Mr. and Mrs. Roosevelt at the White House.
Amelia, what will your next adventure be?
Yes, do tell us. Well, no one's ever from California to Hawaii, or perhaps to take a crack at flying all around the world.
Mr. Hart, if I may say so, you are truly an inspiration to women. Your journey is a friend to us all.
I agree. You've proven that there's nothing a woman can't do once she puts her mind to it.
I think the most important thing is to follow one's ambitions. I shall be quite happy if I contribute to even a small way to the advancement of woman.
Well, you inspire my work for one. She wants to take flying lessons.
Yes, I confess I do. I am terribly fond of flying. Why, I will go on your ride right now with someone up with one.
Then let's go. There's something called sharp hop at night.
And your evening gowns.
What better way? Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen.
Say so, these are for us.
On June 1st, 1937, Amelia took off from Florida for an around-the-world journey. She was accompanied by Fred Newman, her navigator. By early July, they had been to Puerto Rico, Brazil, Senegal, India, Indonesia, Australia, and New Guinea. From New Guinea, Amelia was to fly to Hawaii and then California. First, she had to go to a tiny island called Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean. The U.S. ship Itasca was waiting near the island to guide her there. The following dialogue is based on an actual radio transmission between Amelia and Itasca.
Have you heard anything about Earhart yet? Not yet, sir. Wait, you seem to be picking up something. Weather cloudy! Weather cloudy! What is your position? When do you expect to arrive at Holland?
There is no response.
Your position, please.
There's still no response. Commander Thompson goes on deck and scans the skies. There's still no sighting of Amelia Earhart's plane. He returns to the radio room. Sometime later, the Itasca picks up another signal.
I need a bearing. Please tell me what my position is. We're trying. Wait, we're losing our signal. Hello. Please come in.
The signal is gone. The radio operator looks at Commander Thompson and shakes his head. There's still no visual sighting of Amelia Earhart's plane. Time passes. And then, there's one more transmission.
We must be on you. Cannot see you. Guess very low. Have been unable to reach you by radio. We are flying at 1,000 feet. We are in line in position 157337. We're going north. We are running north and south. Now what could that mean? She must be near them. Yes. We are losing our signal. Please come in. Hello.
Amelia Earhart's voice was never heard again. The U.S. government conducted a massive search for her plane, but they still couldn't find it. There are many theories about Earhart's disappearance. Most experts believe that her plane ran out of fuel, sank in the Pacific Ocean, somewhere near Howland Island. There is one thing we do know for sure. Amelia Earhart wasn't afraid to follow her dreams.
Okay, so right now we're going to take a small break, and what I would like you to do is, when I'm done talking, stand up, and the kids all have a PowerPoint presentation based on a woman that they researched that contributed to something in America or the world history. So I invite you to just kind of stand up, tour their presentations, and take a look at their artwork that they did based on the work of Georgia O'Keeffe.